Hi, this is Ushio, and welcome back to Echo. We are about to go on a date with Flynn, and if it gets too spicy, I'm gonna kind of skip those parts and give you a quick summary, because I'm keeping things as clean as I can. So let's focus on this. Let's see what's gonna happen. Flynn's house is a ranch-style adobe home. He moved here only a few years ago, so it's my first time seeing it. It's an alright place. Housemate's quiet and keeps to himself, so it's almost like I have it to myself. It looks really weird. Is it really small or really big? I can't quite tell. You got a housemate? Well, yeah, don't need the whole house. Saves a decent amount of money too. We put in next to a kinda foreign looking faded yellow scooter. He's new to Echo. You'll probably like him. He's a big fucking nerd. I hop out, the pavement warm against my pads even though the sun's setting. Looks nice, kinda like a smaller version of Cole's house. Cole's mansion, you mean. On the way up to the door, his stick tail bumps against my own, though it's soft enough that I'm not sure if it's on purpose. As we go inside, I'm hit with a blast of warm air that's not much different from what's outside. I air out my shirt. Flynn notices and chuckles. Sorry, but you better get used to it if you want to hang around with a Gila. As I follow Flynn into the kitchen, the smell is a bit strange as well, kinda like sagebrush, which isn't a bad thing at all. That you, Flynn? Yeah, got a friend over. Oh, one of your reunion friends. Flynn opens the fridge. We have any green peppers left? I hear a sliding door from the hallway and turn around to a somewhat startling sight. A tall lizard comes in, but it's not its height that surprises me, but rather his colouring, spotted blue with pale eyes. Then I realise that he's a salamander, not a reptile. I suppose I'd seen brightly coloured amphibians in Pueblo, but definitely not Echo, and not even in Peyton. There's a smile on his face, and I tried hard not to stare. Dax, this is Chase. Hey Chase. Hi. I reach out to his offered hand before feeling the cool, almost slippery sensation of his skin. Yeah, sorry. I know you guys aren't used to salamanders round here. I cringe inwardly as I realise he'd caught me staring like a dumbass. Oh, no, I don't mind. Mind me being a salamander? I'm mortified, but he's still smiling. Alright, Chase, enough making a fool out of yourself. Flynn is tossing ingredients onto the counter. Peppers, cheese, eggs. He can't help it if he's not used to it. Well, he's always bragging about going to college. Sometimes it serves you better if you just get out more. I'm not sure what to say at this point, but Dax saves me from having to try. Oh, please. Daxton sits next to me on a stool, that warm smile still plastered to his face. Yeah, Flynn here was trying to sweet talk a hyena a few months back. I see Flynn tense up before he turns around, pointing a knife threateningly at the salamander. Don't you dare. Refer to him as a canine, like, isn't that something basic you learn in school? Wow, Flynn, really? Flynn turns back around with a huff. Sometimes you forget shit. He's trying to play it off, but I can see the frills on the back of his head flaring out. He didn't care anyway. We fucked, so fuck off. Daxton rolls his eyes before getting up and airing out his shirt like I did earlier. Well, I'm going back to my side of the house. It's a freaking sauna over here. He pats me on the shoulder as he passes. Nice meeting you, Chase. I watch as he heads back down the hallway, sliding shut the door. It's colder on that side of the house? Yeah, dual habitat residence. I look longingly over at Dax's side of the house. Get your ass over here so I can teach you how to cook something. The next hour is surprisingly fun, even though half of it is spent with Flynn yelling at me about how wrong I'm doing stuff. He calls it chiles rellenos, peppers filled with cheese and meat and covered in egg before being fried. I have to agree with Flynn that it's way better than the diner food, even though the food over there is still pretty good. When we finish, Flynn dumps the dishes in the sink with a clatter before snatching me up by the arm. Hey, shut up, Chase. I frown, but allow myself to be dragged down the hallway to what I presume is the lizard's room. Uh-oh, here we go. It's small and simple, but what I'm most focused on is the fairly large bed. He pulls me in to make room to shut the door before pressing me back against it and kissing me full on the mouth. I open my mouth the moment his tongue prods at my lips. I'm not used to the feeling of something so thin and flexible sliding into my mouth, but it's not a bad feeling. Okay, heads up. If it gets too spicy, we're going to cut to the other end of this. His long tongue easily entangles my smaller one. At the same time, his hands grab the bottom of my shirt and pulls it over my head, breaking the kiss. As I lean back against the wall, Flynn's eyes play over my body, clearly drinking it in. I narrow my eyes. Hey, you've already seen me naked. I reach forward, undoing his belt with quick, jerky movements. Flynn doesn't resist, and instead stands there, smirking down at me. Okay, yeah, that was indeed quite spicy, so basically, Chase gave Flynn a blowjob. That was basically it. But it was very long and it was very detailed. So yeah, Flynn, that's what happened. So let's move on. Flynn turns with me toward his bed, made difficult by the pants around his ankles, and shoves me backward onto the mattress. He grins at me as he slides his shirt back over his shoulders. Now it's your turn. Okay, so Flynn's going to return the favour. I lay on my side, head on Flynn's chest, while his arm is wrapped around me, his hand stroking my shoulder. I rub his smooth stomach in big wide circles, making sure to get every inch. He doesn't seem to be in the mood for another go though, so I'm content to just lay there and listen to his deep breaths. What's wrong with me wanting to know what happened? I pause in my rubbing, resting my paw in the middle of his stomach. He tenses it for a second, so I continue the rubbing. Nothing. I guess it's how you go about doing it. He grunts. Doesn't matter how I do it, he's going to be upset. Might be easier if you try to go at it more delicately. Flynn takes a deep breath, and I watch my hand rise and fall with it. He's hiding something. You know it too. I don't say anything. We lay like that for a while, Flynn breathing softly into my ear as his fingers creep over my arm to tease at a nipple. There you go. Everyone does, but they still treat me like I'm some sort of monster for wanting to know. I press down suddenly, and he grunts loudly into my ear as he tenses up against my hand again. You don't really think what you did at the river was appropriate, ow? I cringe as Flynn pinches my nipple. That's too much, too hard. He doesn't say anything though, as we lay in silence for a while longer. Sydney didn't deserve that. I swallow. No. I mean, I know he was a dick, but he came from a rough place. I just listen, not wanting to say something wrong. Flynn never opened up like this. You guys didn't know him like I did. I stop rubbing and turn my head up to look at Flynn. His eyes are open, staring at the ceiling. Chase, I need to find out what happened. Flynn. No, I'm sick of wondering. I'm sick of imagining. He looks down at me suddenly, and the expression on his face is strange. I'm gonna talk to him again. Who, TJ? I hear my voice rise in concern. He doesn't say anything. Flynn. I sit up. Don't do that. He glares at me. Yeah, why not? This is probably the last chance I'll get. But I try to think of something to say. Nothing good will come of it. If he hasn't said anything until now, he probably never will. Also, if you have seen TJ's route earlier in my gameplay, you will know certain things about this dynamic. We'll see about that. The implication in his voice sends a chill down my spine. Flynn. The lizard looks away from me. What? I'm not going to do anything. Just talk. And if he doesn't say anything? Flynn stares at the wall. Then I guess that's that. But I want to talk to him without Leo there to coddle him like he's some little kid. I put my face in my hands and rub slowly. I know Flynn would never want to hurt TJ, but you can get so emotional. And what if TJ says the wrong thing? Just let me go with you when you do. Flynn turns his head to look back at me. Why? I want to be there, to help keep things grounded. Flynn stares hard at me. Maybe. He likes you, so maybe that'll be good. He continues to stare at me, and I feel a little uncomfortable. What? You just have to promise one thing. What's that? I say it a bit more slowly. Don't get in the way, don't try to defend him, even if he's acting all sad and shit. I look back at him, unsure of what to say. I don't want TJ to get hurt, but just the thought of this confrontation is making me feel sick. But I don't want him to be alone when it happens either. The thought of telling one of the others, Jenna or Leo, comes to mind, but I know that'll be a fucking catastrophe if I do. That'll be the end of a lot of friendships. This still had a chance that they would survive. Either way, I'm going to have to promise him if I want a chance to go along. But whether or not I keep the promise... Tell the truth or lie? Oh, decision time. I'm gonna be cool about it. I'm tell truth. I promise, but only if it doesn't get physical. Flynn's eyes narrow. What? He continues to stare at me like he's trying to see something behind me. What? I'm not lying. Flynn gives his signature snort and closes his eyes again. It won't. I look at him skeptically, deciding not to remind him about what happened at the river. I sigh and stare at my naked balls for a moment, feeling a little strange, put some clothes on then. I'm going to the bathroom, maybe take a shower. Alright. I get up onto unsteady feet and head into the hallway, wondering if I should try. Hello? What's wrong with you? Oh man. We've reached Thursday. We'll keep going. I open my eyes blearily, waking up to the sound of something pounding in the distance. I stare at the ceiling a moment, then abruptly prop myself up onto my elbows, looking around confused. Where the hell? Oh, yeah. Flynn's room. I'd fallen asleep on Flynn's bed, naked, after I'd taken a shower. Turns out that lizards don't have dryers, so I was left to air dry. I was tired, so Flynn had let me lay out on his bed, on a few towels, and that's where I am now. I guess I fell asleep. Again, pounding. Is like DIY or something going on? I look over to my right and see Flynn curled up, his back facing me. I think he's naked as well for a moment. Then I see he's got boxer briefs on, the black colour blending in with his skin. I reach over to poke the rough skin of his scaly back. The frills on the back of his neck flare out for a second and then lay back down. I almost do it again, but Flynn's grumpy, annoyed as hell tone stops me. What? I clear my throat. Sorry, but sounds like, I don't have to say it because the pounding starts back up again, echoing in the hallway. The fuck? Flynn pushes himself up into a sitting position, squinting at the hallway through the door. What time is it? Flynn rolls off the bed and starts putting on a shirt. I grab my phone, glad to see that it's still at half charge. 9? At the same time I notice that I've got texts, several of them. From Leo? Shit. What? Flynn hops around the room as he tries to pull on some pants. My eyes scan over the texts, realising who it likely is that's knocking on the door. The messages started about 2 hours ago. Hey, I was at the motel and you're not there. Jenna says she doesn't know where you are either. Says that you didn't spend the night there. You and Flynn are the only ones not answering my messages. Are you at his house? Hello? I feel my stomach go into a knot. Fuck. Flynn wells on me, annoyed, now fully dressed. The knocking has stopped, but I'm still uneasy about what I've just found out. I think it's Leo. What? This time Flynn sounds panicked. He's been texting me all morning, he thinks I'm here now. I show Flynn my screen, but he barely looks at it. He's got his arms folded, his mind clearly racing. You know he can't find out that I've spent the night here. I tried to keep my voice under control. I know. Yeah, we both know. Things are basically over between Leo and I, but it doesn't change the fact that this will bring up all kinds of problems in our little friend group. Flynn paces for a few seconds and then turns back to me. Well, he's gone now. I can just get Cole to say that you spent the night at his. He already texted Cole. Ah, shit. Flynn groans and hangs back his head. Well, he did ask him if you spent the night there. No, just that he didn't know where I was. At least, that's what he said in the text. I'll just tell him I don't know, and Cole can say you were there. I don't think Cole would have told... Flynn suddenly reaches out, grabbing my shoulder and throwing me sideways onto the bed. I stare at him wide-eyed, but he's not looking at me. Instead, he's staring at the window behind me. What? He throws his hand out in my face, silencing me. Flynn moves to the window, and that's when I notice a big shadow shifting around out there. I scramble to the other side of the bed, heart hammering in my chest. Did he see me? The curtain's covering most of the window, but the foot-long gap at the end is just enough to look in. Flynn starts pantomiming in front of the window, shrugging his shoulders and shaking his head. Finally, he drops his arms with a sigh and leans in to crack the window open. The hell are you doing? Why the hell did you answer the door? Leo, why are you stalking? Leo's voice is angry. Honestly, a lot more angry than I would have expected despite the situation. I just woke up. I was knocking for like 5 fucking minutes. I'm a heavy sleeper. You're dressed and everything. I just got dressed. Most people don't go peeking into windows when they don't get an answer though. Flynn glares through the window. I quietly roll off the bed so I can hide better. even if I'm not in view of the window from here. Listen, I'm looking for Chase. Have you seen him? No. Flynn shifts his position a bit, in my direction, as if trying to block Leo's view. Looking for something? Yeah, Chase. Well, he ain't here. Why would he be? He stayed behind with you at the party, didn't he? Yeah, then ran off to do some project or something. There's a long pause. Puchika, can I come in for a sec? I need a drink. What? Go back to your house, man. You saying you don't want me to come in? Flynn sighs loudly, rubbing his eyes. I'm saying I'm tired. It's 10 in the fucking morning. It's 9, but yeah, sometimes I stay up late. Why? Flynn lowers his hand from his eyes and glares out at Leo. Listen, I'm not really in the mood for this right now. Another long pause. You're acting a little crazy right now too. Listen, I'll be on my way if I can just come in for a bit. I'm fucking burning up. I see Flynn push his forehead against the glass, eyes closed, frustration written all over his face. Alright, a glass of water and then get out so I can go back to sleep. Fine. With that, Flynn closes the window, watching it for a while before sighing loudly again. Alright, stay here, got it? If he knows you're here, we both know he'll kill us both. Just send me to the... Is it Daxton's place? Go to your flatmate's area, he can hide me for a bit. Yeah, oh god. Alright, if for whatever reason he comes back here, hide under the fucking bed if you have to. With that, Flynn turns and heads out the door into the hallway. That last thing he said has me feeling like shit. Sneaking around behind Leo's back like this is wrong, even if I know telling him about it would be worse. Is it my fault that Leo can't get over our relationship? I have the right to do what I want, right? I sigh and press my forehead into the bed. Much Flynn had pushed his head against the window. Staring at my crotch, that's when I realise I'm still naked. I look up, listening. I hear the front door open, followed by some distant mumbling from Leo. If I sneak into the bathroom real quick, I can grab my clothes. Maybe stay there until Leo leaves? At least that way, it won't look as bad if he finds me for whatever reason. I get up and pad quietly to the hall, listening. I can hear some clinking around the kitchen, and then the murmur of some voices. The kitchen is practically out of sight from the hall, which leads to the living room. I stand there for a moment longer, tail twitching as I contemplate if this is such a good idea or not. The moment I hear Leo's voice coming from the kitchen area again, I quickly tiptoe the short distance to the bathroom. Despite not having come close at all to being caught, my heart still hammers in my chest. The voices continue to mumble in the kitchen as I start looking around for my clothes. They're folded neatly on the counter and I quickly snatch them up. Pretty sure I wouldn't smell on you. I catch a few words from Leo that makes my ears perk. Something about smell. Leo smells a lot of things. He does have a canine nose. My eyes widen. Did he smell me on Flynn? I'm pretty sure Flynn hasn't showered since what we did yesterday. My heart rate picks up again as I feel my knees wanting to give out. Where the fuck are you going? This time I do hear Flynn, and I know exactly what it means. The only problem is that I'm still naked in the fucking bathroom. Should I lock the door? Then Leo would definitely know someone's here, and it's probably me. Fuck. I mouth the word, knowing that Leo would hear if I said it now. I hear heavy footsteps coming up the hall. I definitely can't go back to the room and hide under the bed now. They don't keep coming toward the bathroom though. The movements become somewhat muffled again as they turn into Flynn's room. This is fucking crazy, Leo. If Leo heard Flynn, he doesn't say anything. I anticipate the sounds of Leo ripping up Flynn's room, but I guess he isn't that far gone because things go quiet again. Then there's some pacing around, along with heavy breathing. You realise I could call the cops, right? I hear the closet door open. I look around desperately, realising that I don't have much time. The first thing I see is the shower curtain in the bathtub. It's a see-through blue colour, and there's no way I can stand behind it and not be seen. I hear shifting around in the other room again, and their bickering becomes more clear as they step back into the hall. Panicking and practically numb with fear, I crouch down and pull open a cupboard under the sink. Amazingly, there are only a few bottles of cleaning solutions, leaving plenty of room for me to squeeze in. As quietly as I can, I crawl into the opening. We are hiding. Reaching back out, I pull the door closed, setting my other hand against it as I do, so that it won't spring shut. Everything goes dark, and their voices become muffled once again. I back up against the very back of the enclosure, hugging my knees as I try to keep my breathing quiet. It's actually a little while before they come into the bathroom, and I almost jump as Leo's voice booms in the small space. His smell is all over your fucking house. Then he probably should shower more? There's a small silence, and I imagine that Leo just gave him a look that shattered any shoddy confidence he might have had. Like I said, he was here for like an hour yesterday. And why didn't you fucking tell me that earlier? Because I knew you'd be acting like this? Seriously? Their footsteps shift again in time with their voices muffling. I dared to let out a small sigh of relief. I can still hear them arguing, but I don't really care enough. Follow them? Why is this an option that's come up? Okay, follow them. You pass through the cupboard door, into the bathroom. You follow the voices down the hall, into the kitchen. Leo is on his way to the door. He stops in front of it, turning back around to Flynn, who's following close behind. You're really starting to piss me off, Flynn. And you're really starting to freak me out, Leo. All of that still doesn't explain why his smell is all over you. Flynn works his jaw for a moment, eyes narrowed. We, roughhoused a little bit by the mine. By the mine. You know how he gets sometimes. It was really hot. Leo's shaking his head, like he's tired of listening to what Flynn has to say, like he's tired of everything. And then you have it mixed with that smell. Flynn throws his hands up, exasperated. I jerked off later, I'm sorry, but this really ain't any of your business. You know, it kind of fucking is, since I planned out this entire fucking thing. Leo's starting to lose his temper again. You know, this isn't like Leo at all. Calm down, Jesus. Maybe he went off to do more research or whatever. Said he wasn't done at the mine. At the mine? What is this about the mine? Leo's not listening anymore. He's looking to the side, staring at the wall, hackles raised. Listen, I'll drive around town real quick to see if I can find him before work, alright? Flynn, you know you ruined this whole thing for me, right? Thing for you? What are you talking about? And I'll be fucking damned if I let you do it again. The anger and spite in Leo's face is scaring Flynn. Leo, what's going on? But Leo isn't listening. The wolf turns sharply away, yanking open the door. Leo. Flynn reaches out, resting a hand on Leo's shoulder. But at that moment, the wolf throws an elbow back into Flynn so hard that the lizard is sent stumbling back several steps before falling to its knees. Flynn lets out a hoarse groan, but Leo ignores it, slamming the door shut on his way out. Flynn stays like that, doubled over on the carpet, making soft rasping noises before his breathing finally comes under his control. He stays there for a while longer, absorbing what just happened, knowing that Leo isn't himself either. He also regrets doing anything with Chase. Finally, he looks up, right at you. You decide to leave. There's really no point to try and reason with him. It's been a while since you've been out alone like this. It feels good not being attached. Something about that lizard, Flynn, is helping this happen. You'll have to deal with him later. As you continue to walk down the dirt road, you see him. It takes a while at first because he's so far away, but then you see that thick tail waving back and forth as he approaches you. Can he see you? Probably. It's been a long time since you were attached, but the feelings and the thoughts, you can remember it like it was yesterday. The new one's better, a lot more quiet. At least, you made him quiet. It was easier to do than with this one. He keeps walking toward you, and you start to wonder if you should turn back. You always snap back, eventually. Why not let it play out? Let's see how far this will go. Now that you're this close, you can see water dripping off of his body, even after all these years. Finally, you can make out his face. Angry, no, furious, finally seeing you again. He doesn't like what you did, and who can blame him? He starts to run towards you. You finally stop walking, waiting. He's on you in a second, lunging blunt claws and sharp teeth bared. I keep wondering if I should come out myself. The last time I heard any voices was like almost 5 minutes ago. Still, I realised that they could both be outside or something, and I don't want to come running out if Leo decides to come back in. So I wait, starting to feel sweaty in my cramped position, my nose twitching from the strong chemical smells. I'll probably have to take another shower. After another few minutes, I hear a soft padding up the hallway. I know it's Flynn, but I'll wait. Another few seconds of silence goes by before Flynn finally speaks. He's gone. Okay, that was weird. We had like a, not quite a dream, like an out-of-body experience sort of thing. So, how are we going to explain to Leo that Cole just forgot that I was there? I pull my shirt over my head, feeling kind of gross, putting back on my musky shirt. Flynn stands in front of his dresser mirror, having just finished putting on his tie. He's currently picking at his scales with a pair of tweezers. Carl forgets everything, especially when it gets high, which is all the time. Flynn's been acting kinda distant after the whole Leo incident. It's not hard to imagine why. I'm kinda feeling the same way. Leo probably finding out, had put a damper on our stupid excursions. It really put into perspective how immature we were being. Okay, so I'll say I spent the night at Cole's, and then left in the morning to do some filming, and then came back. Flynn had told me to text all of this to Cole before I go over there. The only response I'd gotten so far was a short what? Okay, we don't got any other choices? I guess not. And Chase, we probably shouldn't do this anymore. Yeah, I know. Flynn glances at me through the mirror, and then returns to picking at his skin. He clears his throat. I know this is kinda gross, but it's fine. We've all got our gross things to deal with. Can't go into work looking like I got snowed on, right? Yeah. I mean, it doesn't ever really get that bad, but Flynn breaks off awkwardly as he goes back to his grooming. It's weird seeing him this off, but again, it's not like it's unwarranted. I'll sit on the edge of the bed, texting Carl again to try and get him to at least partially understand what the plan is. After a couple of minutes, Flynn clears his throat again. Listen, Chase, you ever feel a little bit like, not yourself? What? I look up and see that the lizard is looking at me through the mirror again. He quickly turns his attention back to his picking. I don't know, like you're not fully in control of what you do. I frown. Is Flynn trying to get at something, explain his own actions? Does he feel like he wasn't in control of what happened between us? No, at least I don't think so. Flynn finally puts down the tweezers and turns to me, leaning his rear against the dresser. So you've never felt like you're not yourself? Though I'm not totally sure as to what Flynn's getting at, I decide to humour him and think, I guess after what happened when we were kids, I didn't feel right. After Sydney. Yeah. I tried to avoid talking about it directly, but Flynn doesn't seem to be bothered right now. You probably remember that I saw a therapist after, because I felt so different and it scared me? Flynn nods. Did they figure it out? Kind of. If I remember right, they said it was like a dissociative thing. What's that? Like sometimes when something really traumatic happens, your mind sort of distances you from yourself to protect you. I shrug. Something like that. I'm not very good at psych stuff. I almost tell Flynn to ask Jenna, but of course he can't. So did they, fix it? Not really, but I got used to it, I guess. It was like the new me. And you're okay with that? I shrug again. My therapist said that really traumatic things can change the way your brain works forever. You just learn to live with it. That doesn't sound good. No, but it's a part of life. I think we all changed. Yeah. I don't go into detail about how it got worse over time, the whole not feeling like myself. How I felt more and more like my personality was bleeding away, that I'm a completely different person now than I was 10 years ago. Because in the back of my mind, I just wonder if that's what it's like to grow up. That you become less like you were as a kid, happy, carefree, a complete douchebag, and turn into a hollow shell of all that. I can still feel Flynn looking at me, so I decide to bring up something else that's just as uncomfortable, since we're already here. So, when you're talking to TJ? Flynn's silent for only a second. Saturday, at the end of the trip. I'm not sure if that's the best idea. It doesn't leave much time to make amends if things turn sour, which they most likely will. But then I guess that means we'll easily be able to just leave as soon as it's over. Okay. Flynn's still looking at me, so I abruptly stand up, putting my phone back into my pocket. Anyway, you ready to go? I don't want to make you late for work. Sure. Flynn finally straightens up, walking across the room to grab his keys. I'm glad just to have somewhere to go now. Flynn feeling off like this is one of the most awkward experiences I've ever had. Probably because he's usually so good at making things not awkward. So with that, Flynn takes me to Cole's house, dropping me off before heading to work. Okay, I sit quietly next to Cole on the couch as he plays his video games. It's some kind of first-person shooter that I've never seen before. You know, I'm not all that into shooters, but this one's pretty good. Yeah. I try to act interested as I browse through my phone. I've already texted Leo, apologising and telling him that my phone had died. It's weird how quickly this high has gotten out of control. I'm making things up as I go at this point, and I'm amazed at how easy this is. Leo hasn't responded, and I doubt he believes any of it. It still gives both of us room to pretend though. Yeah man, I think it's the sci-fi elements. I could never play one of these World War shooters. Same. Cole clicks around with the controller for a while longer. Are you okay? I sigh loudly, finally tearing my eyes away from my phone. Yeah, I'm good. Because you don't seem good? I don't respond to that, instead choosing to zone out to whatever's happening on the screen. What's with this whole story anyway, about you spending the night or whatever? I debate whether or not it's worth telling Cole. He'd go along with it either way, but keeping all of these secrets is starting to make me feel sick. Well, I spent the night at Flynn's. Leo found out I wasn't at the motel, and he came looking for me. Ah shit, did you and Flynn I let the silence hang for a while. Cole snorts. Wow. Come on, Cole. No, I don't mind. It just seems kinda weird. How so? I feel myself getting defensive. I'm not really in the mood to be judged by Cole. Yeah, he's cool and everything, but his life, let alone his sex life, doesn't exactly put him in a position to do so. Well, he just barely got here like 5 days ago, and already. I sigh. You know how Flynn is. Yeah, I do. So you shouldn't be surprised. But I mean, we've known him since we were kids. Just feels a bit, Cole, I'm not really in the mood right now. Cole goes quiet for a few more minutes, the clicking buttons on his controller the only sound. But it doesn't last long though. You know I saw you guys at the river a couple days back. I saw you too. I saw you guys. Cole, I just said I'm not in the mood. Cole shrugs. I'm just saying, I already know, it's cool. I keep quiet, hoping that will get Cole to drop this stupid subject already. Doesn't work. But I get why, you gotta keep it from Leo like this. I pull my phone out to see if I've gotten the text from Leo yet. I have not. Me and Leo, we don't hang out all that much, though I think he tries to. He talks a lot about you. I try to ignore the guilt that's steadily building up inside me. Did you smoke today? Because you're being real talkative right now? I only ask because I don't smell it. Usually it's pretty strong. Actually, I had an edible this morning. Cole giggles for a good long while after that. Oh really? I massage my brow with a thumb and forefinger. Normally I get along great with Cole, especially when he's high, but after this morning basically everything is getting on my nerves. I usually hate that shit, but I don't know, I guess I was bored today. Those things shoot me into fucking space. I guess it explains why you won't shut up. Hey, am I pissing you off? I immediately regret what I said as Cole puts the game on pause. No, I just had a stressful morning. I'll with Leo. Cole starts the game back up, giggling again as he shoots the Space Marine in the face. Finally a text from Leo, good to know. Okay, another one immediately follows. Let's hang out sometime soon. But you know, Flynn cares about you too. Yeah. I text Leo a quick affirmative, though I'm not really sure when that hangout's gonna happen. Yeah, wouldn't stop talking about you when we drove to the reservation. Really? That actually did seem really out of the ordinary. What the hell would Flynn have to say about me? Cole shrugs. Bunch of stuff. He wanted to buy you something for the reservation, but thought it might be too weird. Flynn, buy me a gift. That is kinda weird, for Flynn I mean. I thought it was kinda cute. What else did he say? Cole seems to think hard while he continues to shoot guys on the screen. He twists the control this way and that, bumping into my shoulder each time. Said you seem to have grown up a lot, that you're way different than you were as a teenager. Yeah, really cute. Cole's tone seems slightly annoyed there, but I don't really care enough to ask about it. By the way, how's your project going? Being reminded that I have an entire project to do doesn't ease the knot that's formed in my stomach. Not that great. I still need a lot of film and research. What kind of research? Stuff about Echo? Like history stuff? Yeah. Cole plays a while longer, then sets down his controller. My mum might have some Echo history stuff in the cellar, but he pauses. You know Flynn's like the records holder, right? The clerk, yeah. I already know what Cole's getting at, and honestly I want to kick myself for not thinking of it in the first place. Cole turns to me, a loopy grin on his face. Those edibles really do fuck with him. So, let's go get some records from him. Probably better than digging around in my basement. Yeah, we know what happens if we go to your basement. It's an interesting time. Well, yeah, we should, but I don't even know what to get. Don't worry about it, dude. I go down there to shoot the shit with him all the time. We can ask. Things aren't exactly cool between Flynn and I right now, but it is something to do. I'm so behind on my project at this point, I don't even have any excuses. Okay, we're gonna head over and have a little bit more of a chat in the next episode. This is Osho signing off, and hopefully I will see you next time.